Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
In addition to science having disassociated itself from philosophy, you have branches of philosophy now where typically, I think, if you get hired in academia, you're expected to be a specialist in ontology or political theory or epistemology or the ancient Greeks or some other particular branch of philosophy. Very few generalists any longer.
That's right. The branches of philosophy are metaphysics or ontology. And by the way, before I go on to the other ones, let me just point out that this term metaphysics that has such a mysterious connotation these days, and that's been dismissed by many analytic philosophers, has a very mundane origin. When they were trying to classify the writings of Aristotle, there was a set of texts that wasn't really physics, and it was sort of left over after all of the other classifications, including biology and psychology. Aristotle wrote treatises on biology and psychology. And so they called this the stuff after physics, or stuff beyond physics, metaphysics. Really, it's not at all distinct from ontology. And so what ontology is the logic of being. It concerns questions about the ultimate nature of reality and the fundamental principles of the cosmos. A contemplation of nature, including human nature. Then epistemology concerns the theory of knowledge, what it means for something to be knowledge rather than mere opinion. And of course, this was the starting point for philosophy in the classical Greek society around the time of Socrates. Socrates is depicted by Plato in his dialogues as someone who's constantly challenging the arbitration of mere opinion, the decision-making in terms of political life, in terms of the good, sacred ideals and so forth, on the basis of mere opinion, where anyone and everyone thinks that essentially they're qualified to pass judgments on these questions. So epistemology goes all the way back to Plato's attempt to demarcate knowledge as distinct from opinion, truth as something distinct from mere semblance. And then we have ethics, and which is relatively self-explanatory, let's just say provisionally for the moment. And we have politics, and ideally one's politics, one's political philosophy should be grounded in one's understanding of ethics. Finally, there's aesthetics. And this is not something trivial at all, because, it could be argued that the ethical life can only be properly comprehended on the basis of aesthetic judgment. That basically the way one weaves the fabric of one's ethos or character requires aesthetic judgment. And then again, that's reflected in a certain political theory or another, in a certain political constitution. So these are the main branches of philosophy. And as you said, it's expected that you specialize in one or another one these days in academia. But that's defeating the fundamental purpose and calling of a philosopher, which is to be able to contemplate truth, beauty, and justice in an integral fashion as one seeks greater wisdom and understanding.